Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Age of Quarantine right here on the St. Vitus Bar Instagram. Happy Friday to you all. Hope you're doing as well as you can be during these crazy times, and that some of you are out there getting vaxxed and yeah, all that good stuff. I want to thank all of you for all the support to St. Vitus. If you are not already aware, there's a ton of amazing merchandise and just a lot of cool stuff on our shop: vinyl, records, shirts, apparel, clothing, all sorts of great stuff. But anyway, I'm going to move on and I'll get right to it because I think Max is already in the queue waiting for me. We have Max Cavalera, who has been in a million bands, amazing bands. The guy's a fucking legend. We're so honored that he is going to chat with us this evening. So thanks for joining us. And I'm not even going to do an intro. We're just going to get right into it because it looks like he's ready for us. So Max, I see you're waiting for me. I'm going to get you right in there. Let's do this. Age of Quarantine. I'm your host, Chris Enriquez. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. He should be popping up on the screen any second now.
All right.
All right. What's up, Max? How are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. I'm doing great. Thank you for doing this with us at the St. Vitus Bar Instagram. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I'm glad to be here doing this with you guys.
Hell yeah. You've always been a huge supporter of, no matter how famous or big you've gotten throughout your career, you've always been supportive of the underground, and you've played here at St. Vitus, and now you're here with us today. So, we owe a lot of gratitude towards you.
Yeah, I love the venue. I love the venue. We had 2 killer shows there, man.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
You did.
It was sold out, packed. And I watch a lot of cool videos too from like underground bands, and a lot of them have cool videos at St. Vitus. So it's a killer spot.
Hell yeah, man. I was talking to your brother, Igor. He was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he has never been to St. Vitus, and he told me how much he wants to
we have to hook it up.
we do. He told me that you sent him a message and told him that it reminded you of the venues in New York when you guys were younger, when you came out here and checked out like hardcore shows and places like that, which is really awesome.
Yeah, it's got that cool vibe. It's very intimate, man. That's what I love about it. But it sounds great. Like the sound's really good, and it's an iconic place. Like a lot of you talk to people, and it's like, oh, you play St. Vitus, they know about it. I guess it's like the new millennium CBGBs, like the new CBGBs.
That means a lot, and that's exactly where the inspiration came from, where the owners got their inspiration from. And it's funny, the guys from Anthrax have played there before, and they actually mentioned the same thing and said that it reminded them of the old days. But anyway, I want to get into it with you. I have so many questions, and I know there's a lot that you're doing right now. But let me just start by asking you, how have you been managing to get through this crazy year and a half or so?
I've just been really busy, man, trying to be as busy as I possibly humanly can, doing whatever I can. One of the coolest things I do is Max Tracks, which is,
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very punk rock. I don't put anything on it. I want to keep it punk rock. It's got the spirit of how those songs were recorded, because they were recorded in a shitty kind of situation. It was not in a big fancy studio. So, and it's fun. It's fun because I have so much stuff to go through. Like one day is Morbid Visions, the other day is Jump the Fuck Up, then is Nail Bomb, then is Killer Be Kill, then is Cavalera Conspiracy. And the fans really love it, and I show them how to play the song, and I do a little story about, just something about the song, where I was when I wrote it, what I was thinking, what the idea, what inspired the song.
Yeah.
And so I do that every Tuesday, and I try to do every Tuesday and every Saturday. I try as much as I can. I was in the studio, so I couldn't do all the time. But yeah, I just finished 2 records in a row, which is Go Ahead and Die,
That's right. That's
Um,
right.
the single just came out. I'm very excited. Got a really great vibe, great response from it. And you know, that's me and my son Igor Amadeus. He sings and plays guitar. And Zach from Chemist and Black Earth, which is a I love that. I love that project.
Chemists are amazing, and I actually didn't mention this when we started, but I actually work at Revolver Magazine, and we helped with the exclusive colored vinyl of the Go Ahead and Die. We did a pre-sale. We were working with Nuclear Blast, so I've heard the record, and I love
Yeah,
the track Truckload Full of Bodies.
yeah, yeah. It's a heavy record. It's very you know, like I did it kind of like I did it with my son, but I wanted to sound it like it was done in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's really a marriage of in the 80s we fell in love with punk, hardcore, and death metal and thrash metal. And it's really I call kind of caveman metal because it's very caveman. There's not really a lot of technical stuff. It's really about just being as brutal as you can and having fun, you know. And that's and it was a lot of fun. And we got um, Charles from Abysmal Dawn. He was in the studio recording with us. He also works at Nuclear Blast.
Charles Elliott.
Yeah, Charles
Yeah,
was a
Charles
great.
is the best. Props
Yeah,
to Charles. Hell yeah.
he did a
And we
great
had
job on the
Arthur.
record. And then we have you know, Arthur Risk mix, and he made that shit sound like it came straight out of the 80s. So that was
Yo, that guy is like a mastermind behind all that stuff. He does such a good job of like bringing that like you said, like the 80s thrash metal, death metal vibe. He just knows how to do that. It's amazing.
yeah. So you know, I've been really busy with that, and then I finished that. I took a little bit of time off, and then I've been working actually in the new Soulfly since last year with my other son Zion.
Oh wow.
So we jumped right in. We brought Arthur to Arizona, so he produced the new Soulfly, and that's pretty killer too, man.
Wow.
That's some good
awesome.
shit in that. Yeah, you know, I'm excited for that too. So, like I said, trying to stay as busy as I can. You know.
I'm really excited to hear what Arthur does with Soulfly because he's like, I don't know who we could even compare him to. That would be like someone from back in the day, but he has become such an important producer for metal bands to the point where he's doing non-metal stuff now, and people like you who are legends from back in the day who he's working with, like the guy is just really made a mark for himself. So I can't wait to hear that Soulfly record.
Yeah, and he took it super seriously, man. Like he said, hey Max, I don't want to do just another Soulfly record. I want to do the best Soulfly record. And I was like, all right, I take the challenge. Let's do it, man. You know.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So it's full on. I think it's got kind of like the best of all the years. I think it's a compilation Max Cavalera record of the whole 50 years.
That's awesome.
You know, that's what it feels like. It's got old stuff. It's got middle stuff. It's got very Soulfly vibes. It's got a lot of groove. You know, it's got a lot of fast stuff. You know, so we're in the process of finishing it up right now. But very excited. Hopefully, it's gonna come out this year. I don't know. You know, but I know that Go Ahead and Die comes out in June.
That's right. Go Ahead and Die comes out in June. The single is out right now. Which I just mentioned, Truckload Full of Bodies, which is on streaming. And I want to talk about you playing with your family members, with your son. That's got to be freaking awesome. Do you want to like just kind of tell us a little bit about your son and what it's like playing with him and how he came to be the musician that he is today?
Yeah, I mean, we have a very metal family all around. The whole family is involved in metal, you know, which is great, you know. So it's been like that forever. I'm working with Gloria, you know, all through all those years. So we built this kind of the Cavalera empire, you know, metal empire, and Yeah, so I have I do a lot of stuff with Zion in Soulfly, and I did a lot of stuff with Igor, Igor Amadeus, but he lives in Florida, so I don't see him all the time.
Okay.
But, we finished this record. It was really a lot of fun. We had a cool routine, man, because we did it in our other house. We have a house up in the desert, in the river, and it was like I would go there 3 times a week, and we jam through the day, and nighttime we watch black and white horror movies from like the 40s.
You got to get that inspiration, man. That's so
yeah,
cool.
he's got a collection. He got it from his mom. His mom is a big horror fan, and so every night it was like Dracula, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, The Mummy, and then during the day we're all riffing out.
Hell yeah, man!
And
it's a cool atmosphere to be out there watching those movies, I bet.
Yeah, it's pure desert. You can make noise anytime, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, nobody hears.
Oh, that's perfect.
There's no neighbors, there's just coyotes and rattlesnakes and
oh man,
all the
that's
critters,
exactly where I would picture you living if I had to kind of make it up in my mind. With Cavalera Conspiracy, I was just interviewing Igor, like I said, not too long ago, but where are you guys at with that project?
Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff sometime this year too.
Awesome.
I love doing stuff with my brother. We actually had a whole tour set up last year, a whole U.S. tour.
He mentioned that, and now it's obviously
playing Beneath the Remains and Arise, and unfortunately that got transferred for next year. I hope it still happens because that's a killer tour, man. That is just fun. Those records are fun to play, and it was we did it in Europe, and it was fantastic. It was sold out. People was going fucking nuts everywhere.
Yeah, they're classics now, and you just had some anniversaries around some of those records. So
yeah, our show in Mexico, man, it was amazing. Every person was singing every word.
I mean, are you surprised? Come on, these are records that shaped a lot of people's lives. That and I want to get into that in a little bit. I have kind of an order I wanted to go in, and I want to get to sort of like your origins and coming up and developing your style, but I still want to stay on like current stuff because Kill or Be Killed is another record that just came out, and that was your second full length. It was awesome, man. I actually just got it on vinyl the other day. Let me ask you about that project a little bit because it's got you and Troy from Mastodon and Greg from Dillinger Escape Plan, and you've had different drummers, but you have Ben from Converge. Can you talk about how that band formed and what the writing process is like? Because you're all so busy. I can't imagine how you get into a room and, now you have 2 full lengths. It's kind of mind-blowing in a way.
Yeah, so Killer BQ started with me and Greg. It was actually Greg's idea. He did a song for me on Soulfly Omen. We did a song called Rise of the Fallen. And it came out really good, and we kept in touch, and we were together at the Deftones benefit show for Chi.
Yeah.
And we both sang at that show, and we kept. He got. I don't have a cell phone. I'm a caveman. But he got Gloria's cell phone, and he started sending her texts like nonstop. Hey Max, we got to do a project like Nail Bomb, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, I'm not doing anything. I got a lot of bands already, And anyway, he convinced me. We started doing it. It was just me and him in the beginning. We wrote a bunch of demos in an electronic drum machine, and then we got people involved. And then when we got Troy involved, that's when he's like, that thing blow up into a super group,
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have various drummers.
Yeah, different drum. We have, but I love band. Now this formation is the original right now. It's the one that we're gonna keep. And I love the last record, man. I really, really Reluctant Hero. It's really
good, man. I love both of the Kill or Be Killed records, actually. So It's so rare that a super group, I hate that word, ends up being as good as Killer Be Killed is, but those records are solid. And Greg, I know he's got such an eclectic taste like you do, and I feel like Nail Bomb and Fudge Tunnel, for him to come to you with that, because those bands were so short-lived and put out such great music. It's cool that he came to you with that, and then this is what we got. Now, with the bands, obviously, all of your guys' bands are busy. I don't know when touring or anything like that would happen, but do you think maybe we'll ever get some kind of live stream performance of any kind?
Yeah, we talk a little bit about it. There's a lot we can do still this year. It's an open year. There's even some talk about touring open up soon.
Yeah, that's right.
I hope so. But I always loved the Pink Floyd in Pompeii video.
I love that video. It changed
right?
when I looked at music because yeah, dude, absolutely.
So I thought Killer Be Cute to be cool, like to go to the pyramids in Mexico or some shit like that, and
hell yeah,
and do like a live stream in the middle of nowhere, like in the nature, like with the pyramids behind, or go to like Guatemala or Costa Rica. I don't know. It's like I mentioned to the guys, and I don't know if it's gonna happen. I would love to see that fucking happen. I think that would have been.
Oh
really
man,
cool.
That's a cool reference. That Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. If anyone hasn't watched that, I highly suggest you check it out because even if you're not a Pink Floyd fan, which I wasn't, it just kind of makes you think about music as a whole in such a different way. Like you said, they're in the middle of like this like beautiful landscape, and it's just like they're like jamming and fucking just going for it.
So yeah, so hopefully we come up with something like that would be cool. If not, anything like that would help. Also, there's some other stuff, of course, that we want to do with the other groups. With Go Ahead and Die, of course, coming up, and with Soulfly, that's probably a little bit later.
Yes.
But nothing concrete right now, but there's like the ideas are in the air. We just gotta hook it up,
Yeah, and the world needs to come back, and it is slowly coming back. So hopefully you'll be able to play festivals and tours and all that again. Speaking of Nail Bomb and touring, I wanted to just talk briefly about the Soulfly Tour where you guys played Nail Bomb songs. What was that like? And and I don't know how deep we can get into it, but was Alex is Alex ever open to playing that stuff, or is he kind of just, nah, you do it yourself, I'm not doing that anymore?
Yeah, he's done. He
Okay.
doesn't want to be. He's a producer now, and I respect that. But we got his blessing to do it. Gloria actually called him, and was in contact with him and make sure he was cool about it, because she said Max really liked to play the Nail Bomb record live.
Yeah.
He knows that you guys will never do another record, which we never will, but I still think the record is amazing to play live, and
Definitely.
So we did it as Soulfly plays Point Blank. That's how
Right.
it was. And then we had some really cool bands. On the bill we had Cannabis Corpse, and it was like it was 20. I think it was like 23 shows in Canada.
Right.
Only in Canada, which was I'd never done that. We entered in like Toronto and went across the whole country, and we were there for like a month.
That's fucking wild. I mean, I didn't get to see it. I was not fortunate enough. Did you guys do any Fudge Tunnel tracks as well, or was it just the Nail Bomb stuff?
No, it was the Point Blank record.
Okay. Yeah.
We did the Point Blank entirely. We did couple like I think Dead Kennedys in a couple nights, Police Truck, because that was one of the things that we play live.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was a cool tour. We also had Harm's Way on the bill.
Harm's Way is another amazing band.
Amazing, yeah, amazing band. They were great. They were great, and I actually I sang with Conan, from England.
Yes,
I don't know
yes,
if you
I
know
know
Conan.
that band. Yeah.
Yeah, doom metal, amazing doom metal band from England. We play a festival together, and they play Hate Songs in E minor, and they invite me to sing that, and that was really cool. That was cool. I love Hate Songs in E minor. That Fudge Tunnel record is intense. If
Yes,
people don't know like the roots of Nailbomb, they gotta go listen to Fudge Tunnel and get the heaviness, the grime,
absolutely, yeah. And you guys were kind of like fucking around and doing some really cool stuff that, like you said, turned into Nail Bomb. It was really just you and Alex, I guess. But I really am interested in seeing if that ever can be released on vinyl or something like that. But that's just the fan in me, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
One day.
I would love to make another record. Yeah, I wish I could convince Alex to work on a new record, man.
I'll tell you what. I kind of know Alex because I made a record with him, and we see him.
Yeah.
He's here in Brooklyn, and he comes to St. Vitus, and we bother him sometimes. So if I see him, I'll tell him you said that. And
yeah,
we'll
plant the seed.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about. You are very supportive of current music, and so is Igor. And we talked about this because he told me that you guys were always big fans of bands growing up, and you haven't lost that. And I noticed that not only in the bands that you take on tour, but you wear your battle vest and you're wearing patches of bands like Full of Hell, and you were just talking about Conan and Chemist. It's so cool to see that. And I wanted to ask you, like, what are some of your favorite bands that you think are really important that are doing something that people should know about, in your opinion, that's current and contemporary?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of metal all the time. I'm a fanatic, I'm a huge freak when it comes to metal, and you're totally right. That's like one thing that neither me or Igor have really changed since we were teenagers, is our love for underground metal, and we support that, and doesn't matter how popular you get, you can always support smaller underground bands, and I love doing that,
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I've been jamming a lot is Undeaf. I love that, the last record that came out, I think like end of last year. The Black Curse album, of course. I really love that a lot. Let's see. I love some of the classics also. Obituary.
Right.
Always putting up good stuff. Incantation, the same with
Incantation is fantastic.
Immolation, all those great bands. I got in touch. Some of these bands I end up getting in touch with them, like Ascended Dead. I'm wearing their shirt right now.
Right.
I like their stuff a lot. Ascended Dead is great. It's really, really grimy. I didn't know, but they did a cover of Morbid Visions, and I was like,
no shit.
Yeah. And what I did was, sometimes I hit the band, through my son, because I don't have a cell phone, and get in contact. But this time I just went and bought the shirt myself without telling them, So I just sent the money to them, and he sent me a letter freaking out, and he sent me like 3 shirts, and it was just for one.
Absolutely, it
was only for one shirt.
Well, I mean, you guys, you haven't. I've never met you before, and I've always felt that the two of you in particular, something you both have in common is that you're very humble and generous. And And after I interviewed Igor, he actually stayed in touch with me and sent me music to check out. And he told me that was something that you've done for him, where you're like, hey man, you got to check out this crazy band. You know, it'll be some like obscure metal band, and he's into a lot of obscure electronic music and stuff like that. So it's very, very cool to see that you have not lost that. I want to ask you, you know, to go back a little bit into your history. You know, I always try to just kind of get an idea when you guys were growing up. What was with you? Your progression as an artist started out with like very no frills, aggressive metal, like you said, and then you brought in the hardcore punk influence. When you decide what you're going to do with your various bands, right? Do you like collaborating with other people, or do you have an idea in your mind of what you want a project to sound like, and then you come in with your own stuff and you go, hey guys, I have an album's worth of material. You know, I'm curious about your songwriting process is really what I'm trying to get at, and how you switch it up from one thing to the next.
Yeah, that's like I kind of like just jump from one to the other, you know, and it's to me is it is kind of what makes interesting and makes me feel like, you know, this does not get old or get boring or because all of these projects are a little bit different from each other. You know, Killer Be Kill is very different from Go Ahead and Die.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Soulfly is different from Cavalera, you know, and I like to write for each album in the separately, you know. I don't like to mix them up. So when I was writing for Killer BQ, I was really focused on Killer BQ. So all the riffs were like, you know, I had that in mind. I had the guys in mind for vocal parts.
Because there's a lot of melodic singing and harmonies, so.
Yeah, so I mean, there's still a ton of fast stuff on the record, you know. Like I managed to squeeze a bunch of my fast shit in there, but it was also fun to write melodic riffs. I enjoyed that, you know. It's kind of like another side of Max that a lot of people don't know about it. And then when I jump into Go Ahead and Die, that was just like a throwback to all the stuff I grew up with. A lot of Celtic Frost, Hellhammer, Discharge, you know, put all that in a pot and just see what comes out of it. And I did that with my son, so which that was great, you know, because he wrote a lot.
Now, let me ask you really quick, does your son love the old stuff too? Like all of that early stuff that you just mentioned?
Oh yeah, big time, you know. There's a lot of bands that I show him, you know, a lot of, especially on the hardcore side, you know, it's very, very crazy stuff like Chaos, Tervet Cadet, Finnish stuff, Antisemix, you know, of course, Discharge. And then some of it he knew from growing up and listening in my house, like Celtic Frost and
right.
Napalm Death and stuff like that. The cool thing about my relationship with Igor is that he also ended up showing me a lot of new bands too. He's the one that showed me Full of Hell.
Wow, yeah.
I didn't knew about them, and he's like, hey, he calls me Pops, you know, hey Pops, you gotta check this band out, and you know,
right.
And I put it on Full of Hell, and I was like, and same with Conan, you know, he's the one that got me into Conan.
He's got his ear to the ground.
He does, man. The kid, he knows his stuff. He knows his metal. He also loves Genocide Pact.
Yeah, they're great.
You know, so it's cool that that's another thing that it also keeps me modern with metal, you know, with what's going on. I do a lot of research on my own. That's how I found bands like Creeping Death and
oh man, those guys will be really excited that you just said that. I know those guys.
Yeah. You know, I love a lot of bands like that, Rip to Shreds and things like that. But also sometimes it's cool to have somebody like your son telling you to go check some band out, and I go check it out, and it's really, really killer, you know. And then I remember one time we were in Europe, and the phone rang, and I answered, and he's on the phone, he's on the video, you know, and he's in the jacuzzi with all the Full of Hell guys, you know, in
Oh
my
shit.
jacuzzi, in my house. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? You know?
Holy
Like,
shit, man, that's fucking hilarious.
yeah, and they're just hanging out in the jacuzzi and having fun, and so it was cool. We also had Chase here from Gate Creeper. There was one time that I wasn't here. I was on tour, and he was hanging out with Igor, and Igor showed him the white guitar that I played for many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You know, on the Sepultura videos, the white Warlock, and yeah, Chase took a picture with it. It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good to. It's good the respect that these guys have for the stuff that I did in the past. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that my son is also know a lot of these guys, and it's yeah, man, we're a full on metal family. There's no bullshit here, you know.
You know, it's cool, Max, that you've experimented and tried different things, but you've never like totally veered off into a lane that makes no sense where you lost fans. You know, there are people that have been around as long as you that have done things that might have been like, whoa, I don't know about that. You know, I don't want to talk shit and like mention bands or records that I'm thinking about, but everything you've done has stayed in like really good quality, and because of that, I think that's why you've stayed relevant and important to younger people. But then I'm going to go somewhere else here. You are an incredible influence to everyone from Slipknot to Deftones to even the Foo Fighters. I don't know if you know this. I told Igor, but there's a single that even the Foo Fighters put out recently called Run, like within the past 2 or 3 years. And in many interviews, Dave was like, yeah, this is totally influenced by Roots. But it's like, they're kind of like a melodic rock band. Have you ever, you've gotten a lot of praise from many people. Have you ever gotten praise from someone, maybe whether it was a celebrity or someone famous, where you were just like, it was very surprising, or you were taken back, like, whoa, really?
Yeah, I have a cool story about that. So we were always been a big Ozzy fan, of course, you know, and we know him now personally, you know, but at that point, and this is like maybe like 15 years ago, we did a cover song for Under the Sun. Soulfly recorded a cover, and it came out in one of those Nativity in Black Part 2, one of those Black Sabbath compilations.
Yeah.
But I got a letter from Ozzy
No
in the
shit.
mail. In the mail.
Wow.
You know, and on the letter, it was really quick, just saying, "Hey Max, I hope you're doing good. I heard your version of Under the Sun, and I just want to say I love it. You know, it's a great."
Holy shit.
And I told Gloria, like, I can't die now. You know, go ahead and shoot
God.
me right now. I'm good.
Oh man, that when was that?
It was about 15 years ago. Like it was during around Soulfly 3.
Wow,
When I was
that is
making.
unbelievable. That's like a definitely a holy shit moment for sure.
It was, man, and it was like I still have the letter, and you know, I treasure very much, and you know, it was they always been really cool to us. Ozzy's always been, you know, I've been part of a lot of cool Oz fests. You know, I can't, all the way back from Sepultura, Soulfly. They put us in a lot of cool shows. You know, they put us on the last one was like 4 or 5 years ago. It was in England, Hyde Park, with
Yes.
with Motorhead, Soundgarden, Fate No More,
Oh my God.
and Black Sabbath. Like, it was one of the best lineups ever, you know.
Yeah, man, and you belong right there, man, because it's like, fuck you. You took extreme metal, the best sounding extreme record that I've ever heard in my life, production wise, is Roots. I've never heard anything better than that in my life. I just want to say that to you. And you revolutionized the way that heavy music could be played. I think that when you talk about the big four, like Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, and Metallica, to me, those bands did important things, but and then you can throw in, you know, Pantera, of course, but like also I think you guys really there are bands that would not sound the way they do today if it wasn't for the things that you did. And I'm sure you realize that. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but since we were just talking about people that you've had an influence on, you've done a lot of collaborations with people. You did the Probot thing with Dave Grohl, who's a fan of yours. You were on a Deftones record. You had Corey Taylor on something. What are some of your favorite collaborations you've ever done, and why?
Yeah, there's been a lot of really cool special ones throughout the years. Some of my personal favorites, Tom Araya was a big one when we did Soulfly Primitive.
Yeah.
And I tell you the reason for that, because back in the 80s and late 80s and the 90s, there was a media war between Sepultura and Slayer. They created a media war.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, a lot of like Kerrang magazines was like Sepultura against Slayer, and they don't like each other, this and that. And nothing could be further than the I fucking love Slayer, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's like one of my favorite bands, you know. And so when I had the chance, when I was doing Primitive, I came up with the idea to invite Araya to be on the song called Terrorist. And we did it. And it was so cool because we built this wall of Marshalls in the studio. We must have like, I don't know, like 10 Marshall amplifiers. So we made a wall in the middle of the studio, and one of it's in each side of the studio singing. It was intense. It was intense.
Yeah,
and I had to convince him to sing a little bit of Criminally Insane, because that was for the end of the song. And I was gonna sing a little bit of Inner Self, and he didn't want to do it first. And I had to like, come on, man, it's metal. It's like, you know. And then another one that I really enjoy was Sean Lennon. You know, Sean Lennon also on Primitive was very special because he spent like a whole week here with me. He didn't want to stay in a hotel, so he just stayed in our house.
That is rad.
Yeah, he ended up signing our wall in our bedroom.
How did that happen? How did that even come together?
We were flying to Australia to do a festival, Big Day Out, and on the way there, I was sitting across from him in the airplane, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy," you know. Hey,
he lives here in Brooklyn. I've seen him around.
Yeah. Like, you're Sean Lennon, right? It's like he knew who I was, and you know, he liked Sepultura and stuff.
Really? Yeah.
And that first Soulfly record had just came out, and he told me, "I really like that your first Soulfly record." You know, I was like, "Oh, cool, thank you." You know, so we went to Australia, and we ended up sharing in the festival. We're always next door to him. It was like, you know, it was like meant to be. It was like one of those things, like, you know, the universe is telling you something. You better do it. You know.
So weird.
Yeah, and then we did some song which is about our dads, you know, and yeah, that was one of the cool collaborations. And of course, I love all of them. You know, I have all the other ones are more underground ones. You know, I love Todd from Nails on
That's right.
Sodomites. You know, that was great. On the last Soulfly record, you know, we did a song with Randy from Lamb of God, you know, Dead Behind the Eyes, you know, and Ross Dolan from Immolation, you know, on the Rapture.
Yeah.
On Cavalera Conspiracy, we had Justin from Godflash. That was
Justin Broderick, man, and you played a lot of shows with him back in the day with Fudge Tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, it was cool to have him. We did one Cavalera also with Roger Miret from Agnostic Front.
Yo, man, that's my dog, right? Right. He was on the show. We're over here in New York. We are huge, you know, at St. Vitus. We're huge Agnostic Front fans, and Vinny Stigma actually did his 60th at the club. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So those are some of the favorite ones that I remember. It's been a lot of them, you know, and I enjoy every single one of them. You know, I really enjoy. I want to do more. You know, I love this collaboration. You know, when we did the first Cavalera record, we had Joe from Gojira on
Oh
bass.
God, so good.
And it was so cool to have him. It was the beginning of Gojira. Like they were not, nobody knew who they were. You know, it's so cool to see how they really branch.
They're one of the most important metal bands today, man. They're just pushing it.
Yeah. So you know, it's always been cool to work with different people all the time. And one of the coolest things I did was with Igor last year. It was we were touring in the UK, and we played Birmingham, and the Discharge guys came. Igor set up.
Wow.
So the Discharge guys came, and we did a jam with them.
No shit, that's fucking sick.
So the original guitar player, which his nickname is Bones, and the singer, you know, and we played Protest and Survive and Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing, and it was fucking incredible, man.
I can only imagine, because Discharge gets a lot of shine from people like yourself in interviews, but they're not like a band that, like, unless you did some deep diving, that, you know, some people may not realize the impact they had on extreme music, and that's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, so a lot of cool stuff like that.
So let's take some questions from the audience. If you're going to give me a second here, I'm going to pull some up, and I'm just going to sift through them just because I don't want to. Okay, I'm only going to take the good ones, guys, because Max, I know you get asked a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. So let's start with this one here. Would you ever play Boom live?
Yeah. In fact, it's one of the songs that are on the list of the Max tracks for the future Max track songs to do. So I think I only play when Primitive came out, and I never play it again. But for sure, it's a cool song.
Awesome, man. There you go. Got another one here. Let's see. Are you going to release music with Richie?
I kind of let him do his own thing, you know, which is great. You know, I love Insight, and I love what he does with Insight. It's kind of like the same with Igor. He has Healing Magic, and I don't really get that involved with Healing Magic. I let him do his own thing. You know, I try not to. They got to figure out for themselves. You know, it's like part of the fun is figure out for yourself.
I respect that. We anybody watching out there, you know, like I said earlier, I work at Revolver Magazine. We actually filmed a Soulfly show that you can watch on our YouTube, and we also filmed Insight, which is on our YouTube channel, which were both at Gramercy Theater. Great.
Yeah,
sets.
that came out great. Charles mixed that.
Charles is the best. Shout out to Charles from Nuclear Blast. We got a couple other questions here. This is kind of a broad one, and I'll let you answer this however way you want. But ask Max about his views on environmental issues and music. I guess, you know, lyrically, we didn't really get into like some of the topics that you talked about. But I guess, you know, do you want to talk a little bit about how you feel about the environment and where that kind of sits in your mind when you're writing lyrics in your songs and all that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like with the world moving so fast, you know, it's sometimes we kind of forget a little bit about some of the issues, but I still think there's one song in the new Soulfly that is about the environment, and I'm really proud of it. I don't have a title for it yet, but it came out really cool. You know, I watch a lot of good fair amount of documentaries, and sometimes some TV shows, stuff like John Oliver, you know.
Yes.
And the last episode, John Oliver, it was really interesting because he was talking about plastic and recycling and how that's not working at all, and we need to come up with a better way to recycle for the future. And it says by 2050 there was going to be more plastic than fish in the ocean. That's fucking scary, you know.
It really is. We're actually they're using less plastic here in New York, and I know New York is more progressive in certain ways with that kind of stuff. But when you go to the grocery store at a lot of places, they don't have plastic bags anymore. You have to buy a bag and use that and clean it and bring it back. So that is a scary thought, and it comes up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you can say it's not as important as COVID. Of course, COVID is on the front runner right now for important issues because we're dealing with that right now, and it's killing a lot of people. And it's one of the things why I think the Truckload Full of Bodies is to me is such an important song, is because it's an X-ray of our sick society. How this society works, man, is crazy. Like how they just so many people died. They didn't give a fuck.
Right.
It could have been taken care a lot better. I'm gonna have my vaccine on Sunday. I'm finally getting
Oh,
vaccinated.
wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, man. So um we decided to make a kind of like a very hardcore video with us in body bags, singing in body bags, and
Yeah.
I know it's a little dark, but I think that's the only way you can get people's attention. It is if you do something drastic like that, And the Go Ahead and Die is a very political record. It's kind of like a nail bomb. It's just a big fuck you to everything that we don't like. So there's songs about kids in the ice cage kids in the border of Mexico, how those kids are, it's like concentration camp,
Yes.
and there's songs about all kinds of stuff. There's a really cool song called Roadkill. It's about veterans and homeless people, and how sometimes they go to the war, like Vietnam or Afghanistan war. They come back here, they're homeless, and they're heroes, man. They're heroes, and
They're
they're
actual
out
heroes. Yeah.
and they're out in the street. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. So I'm glad we did songs like this on this record and people get to hear, and they can, start a conversation, which I think is the best thing is to start a conversation with other people about the issues, So I think the Go Ahead and Die record is gonna start a lot of conversation. They don't have to agree with everything that we're saying. That's the good thing,
Yeah.
At least it opens a line of communication, But
Yeah.
it's a lot of issues out there. Brazil is very very much in the same boat as the U.S. has got hit hard with Corona.
Yeah.
The natives, all the tribal people are going through a real hard time right now and everything. So we just wish that it gets better. Hopefully, looks like it's getting a little better, and hopefully by the end of the year or next year,
Yeah, I
people
hope
will be
so.
doing a lot better.
Yeah, and then Max, just to echo a little bit about what you just said, I always admired the fact that you use your voice to speak out about real things going on in the world through your lyrics. Because I think that obviously I'm going to guess comes from the hardcore and punk rock influence, which is very political and social. Speaking of social issues and the environment, whereas like some metal. It's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy play, and that's not really the case with the stuff that you sing about. So it's a very cool question to the person that asked that. And I'm going to take up too much of your time. I know you're busy. We got 10 minutes left, and I'm going to take a few more questions if that's cool.
All good, man.
Awesome. So let's see. What else do we got here? Here we go. This is an interesting one. It's a very basic question, but probably a tough one to answer. What song could you even pick a singular song that you're most proud of out of your entire catalog? Is that possible?
It's really fucking hard. But I have to say, Eye for an Eye is
Great
definitely.
song.
Well, let me tell you, man. The reason why Eye for an Eye to me is such a big important song is that right after I split up, I didn't want to do music anymore because I was, you know, I was not with with Sepultura anymore, and I was just in a dark room doing drugs and drinking like 24 hours a day, just wasting away.
Yeah.
And then finally, man, with the, you know, I have good people around me like Gloria and the family, and you know, so little by little, they encouraged me to get back, you know. So I finally picked up my guitar again, and that's the very first song I wrote. You know, I I did one thing. I did a song with the Deftones, "Head Up," on.
Oh man, that's fucking a classic. I was just listening
Yeah,
to that. Yeah.
yeah, classic, killer, right? Killer. I love
Killer
the riff.
song.
I love the riff. I love the opening riff, and so that's the very first thing I did after after leaving Sepultura, and then the second thing was that was my own thing, was Eye for an Eye. And I love Eye for an Eye because it's simple. It's very simple. You can play with one string. You don't need, you know, I play with 4 strings,
I know. Yeah.
but you can play with one string and it still sounds great. Same as Roots. Roots also is one string.
Right. But you're able to. I think that's exactly why you're able to write the riffs. That you're a riff master. I think of you as a riff master. Yeah, man. So we're gonna take. Thank you for that answer. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, and you know, of course, there is some songs that are always close to the heart, like "Refuse and Resist." You know, how can you not like that? You know, that's just, it's a killer protest song. It's just, oh man, when that riff comes in, it's, or Arise. You know, Arise is another one. Like, even today, I listen to it, go, fuck yeah, this is sick. This shit
Yeah,
is.
dude. That stuff never. The classics never got a style. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of, but I think Eye for an Eye, because the crowd always sings it with me. It's always going to be a big song. And you know, the Soulfly one was a gold record in America when it first came out. That was, you know, when people bought CDs, like, they don't buy that shit anymore. You know,
Right.
hopefully they'll buy vinyl, you know, or something. But
They're definitely buying vinyl. I'll tell you that much. A lot of people bought that "Kill or Be Killed," and people are ordering that. The new record that you just Go Ahead and Die. People are ordering that. So, and by the way, before we go, and I still have a couple more questions. You mentioned Gloria. I want to thank Gloria for setting this up. Gloria is awesome. So thank you to her.
oh yeah, man. And she loves you guys, and you know, she invited Enrique to the studio. He came over. He was hanging out a little bit, and you know, it's equal. You know, we're all family. You know, hopefully one day you make it to Arizona. You can come and we'll have a barbecue here in the backyard.
I would love that. I definitely will be there. So thank you for that invitation. We'll just get a couple more questions if that's cool. And
Oh yeah.
then, yeah. Well, somebody asked a really great. Oh, I love this one because artwork is so important, and you have a lot of great artwork. You know, before you answer this question, I just want to say that the greatest thing about people buying vinyl again, and anyone out there that isn't doing it, you know, if you're just listening to it on streaming, that's cool too. At least the music is being heard. But I'm going to sound like an old guy right now. The imagery that goes along with the records is so important to appreciate, because there's a reason why you have artists do what they do and why you want that to be connected. So this question is, what is your favorite album artwork from your entire career?
Wow. That's another one of those, like, you know, really putting in the spot. Man, I really like, yeah, you know, I have to go with Archangel is probably my favorite.
Okay.
Because it's Eliran Kantor. You know, I don't know if you know his work, if you're familiar with. He's done a lot of stuff for a lot of interesting bands. You know, he did Incantation, and he did some Hatebreed, and he did some Testament. You know, he's a great. He's a he's a he's a guy from Israel that lives in Germany. He lives in Berlin.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure I've seen a lot of his artwork and just didn't
yeah,
realize it. Yeah.
yeah. But there's something about the Archangel album cover, the colors, the classic feel to it. Um, so yeah, I have to go with that in a very second prize would be Arise and then Nailbomb third, because the Nailbomb album cover is pretty sick too.
It really is. Yeah.
And
Well,
Arise is
yeah.
just a seafood nightmare.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that all of your artwork is iconic for all of your records, and that's a very tough question to answer. So you did a good job, because let's remember this: a lot of people who have been around like you have been have put out like one catalog of music, and maybe it's not as vast as yours. You've put out catalog of music with various bands. It's insane. And it's, I think, because of how passionate you are about it. So that's cool, man. I think we got a lot of great stuff tonight, and I wanted to keep it fresh and not ask you the same types of questions you've answered a million times. Before we go, why don't we just do some quick, promotions here for everything that we want everyone to know about. We said it before, but let's do it again. Go Ahead and Die. Pre-order the record. You can buy it from Nuclear Blast. You could buy it from Revolver. You could buy it straight from the band. It's available everywhere, so you have no excuse. And then you could check out Truckload Full of Bodies on streaming. And then what am I missing? Do you want to let everyone know some of the stuff you mentioned earlier that they should be waiting for? Okay, are you still there, Max?
Yeah. You cut off a little bit. What was that?
I was just saying. I was promoting Go Ahead and Die. Everyone check that out. And also, if you don't have Kill or Be Killed, Reluctant Hero, order that. Check it out. But what else are we missing that we want to just remind everybody to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I mean, if people would like to check out the Max tracks, those are cool. I don't know what song I'm doing. I normally pick the song right like 2 hours before I do it. So the next Max tracks is tomorrow. And that's
nice.
That's at 2:00 Phoenix time. I don't know what time zone you are in the world that you're watching this. I've seen a lot of Brazilian comments da galera do Brasil. Aí, brasileiros! my Brazilian brothers. So yeah, the Max Tracks is every Saturday and every Tuesday. I did Infected Voice. Last one I did, it was killer. It was because of our eyes commemorating 30 years.
That is insane.
Which is amazing. Yeah, it was cool. Yesterday, Gloria showed me a lot of cool posts that people put it. Our good friend Jose from Liquid Metal.
Jose Mangan, that's right.
Yeah, he played 1 hour a different song from our eyes. He also did that when Go Ahead and Die came out. He played a song every hour from the Go Ahead and Die record.
He's the best, yeah.
Great guy, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's otherwise, check out the Soulfly Tribe Instagram, and stuff like that. Gloria Facebook, But there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I know that we're doing some cool stuff with Revolver in the future. So keep an eye open for that shit.
Absolutely. Well, Max, I want to say congrats on all the new stuff you're doing and your vaccination coming up. And I hope that we see you here in New York. And if I make it out to Arizona, I'll be hitting up Gloria, because I'd love to see you in person one day.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this, my brother. Thanks for
so
supporting
much.
the metal.
Yes.
And, this was fun. We should do it again later.
I hope so, man. Much love to you and your family, my friend.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching.